Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Keeks, back with a brand new video. And unfortunately, October is over, Halloween is over, but that doesn't mean that the frights and scares have to end. That's right, I'm continuing on with my Goosebump book reviews, and starting, we are going back to the very first book. Welcome to Dead House. I'll be talking about the book and the episode adaptation of the book from the 90s Goosebumps series. So strap in, folks, and let's head to Dark Falls.
Scattered thunderstorms tonight, followed by more rain tomorrow.
So, Welcome to Dead House tells the story of the Benson family. You know, mom, dad, two wonderful kids, Amanda and Josh. Amanda's sort of like the main character of the story, and in the book, Josh is just kind of like he's more like annoying. I feel like they gave him a little. I think they aged him up for the show a little bit because if I remember correctly, he's a little bit younger in the book. But they're moving to the wonderful town of Dark Falls, and when they get there, Amanda, she's checking it out, little dilapidated house. It would have been awesome if they had found a house that looked exactly like the one on the cover. They got a little close, but not too bad. Then first thing she notices is somebody watching her from the window, which of course the mom just explains away.
Mom? I think I saw someone upstairs.
You saw someone upstairs.
I saw the curtains move.
So after that weird incident, which obviously it was just the wind, I used old parent logic there. They go in and the dog runs off upstairs, Petey, um, and he just, disappears. So Amanda goes searching for him, and she goes into a room and, is just checking things out. But she's not the only one in the room.
Yes, this is Officer Rosen from the Irvine Cops and Classrooms program. He's going to be talking to you today about stranger awareness.
So restful in the dark. I must have fallen asleep. I'm sorry, I gave your daughter a start. I'm Compton Dawes of Dark Falls Realty.
Oh.
Okay, false alarm, you guys. Just a real estate agent. So we meet Compton Dawes, in this scene, and the book's very different. He's there from like the beginning when we meet him. So I've only read this book like once since I've got it. I've watched the episode twice, so I might be a little mixed up on some things in the book, but I remember some details. Yeah, Compton Dawes, in the book he's kind of there like in the first chapter, and in the beginning of the book they're checking out the house. They already paid for it, but they haven't moved in yet. The episode for the series, they're immediately moving into the house. So like this is gonna be the first night there, and the movers are coming in. So Compton Dolls is there to get them, to sign some papers. But the mom wants them to take part in some kind of family ritual, which the kids and dad are just like, what is she talking about? Like, we don't do family ritual.
Honey, I thought we threw that out.
I would never throw this out. This wreath is a good luck charm.
Alright, so let's talk about this wreath. So have you noticed, like, Dawes, he acts very strangely when he sees this wreath, and like all the other people in this town, they pretty much act the same way. Well, like the three people that the four townspeople that we see in the house, all act strangely to it. Dawes, and then later, their neighbor Agnes, who I will talk about when we get to her, and then Agnes's daughter Karen, who we'll have a discussion about, and they all act really strangely. Now, like in the book, the wreath isn't in the book. It's not in the book. Um, they kind of add the wreath in for like a certain like plot reason, kinda, that makes a little sense, which I will get into when we get to that. But yeah, so they finally get a paper signed and all that, and Dawes goes along his way, so they can enjoy the house. They all getting ready for bed. Amanda, you know, settling in, decides to take a peek out the window after hearing a strange noise, and is greeted by a man staring at her from across the street. Nothing weird about that. Yeah, totally nothing weird about that. Um, so next morning, they're all kind of getting ready for the day. The mom's kind of like directing the movers where everything needs to go, and the neighbor just like busts in with breakfast. No knocking, just walks right in. Uh, can't do that where I'm from. They would end badly.
Knock, knock. Oh, it's your friendly next door neighbor popping in with breakfast.
Yeah, so here we are introduced to Agnes Thurston, who is the mother of Karen Thurston, and interesting fact about the name Thurston is that later on we're gonna meet a character named Ray, who in the book is Ray Thurston, and for some reason they kind of like in the show they kind of in this episode they kind of dialed his role back. In the book, he's like a little more important, and there's a little more stuff with him. I think there was only like 2 or 3 scenes like in this episode, like with him. But in the book, he does a little more, and Karen is just a side character. I guess since they like Amanda's like the main character of this episode, um, they wanted to give her like a friend, a friend that was a girl, and so they just changed, her to Thurston, and then added her mom and dad into the episode because they weren't in the episode. Um, you see more of the adults in the episode than you do the books. Really, the only adult you really see in the book is Compton, and then it's mostly just like the kids you see, and then they do mention the other adults in the book, but they're not really like um important characters. They don't really have any lines besides Compton. I think maybe a couple of them have lines. So anyway, so yeah. Where was I? I lost my train of thought there. All right, we're back on track. So the mom suggests that that the kids go take Petey for a walk. So they go on a walk, and they meet some lovely, friendly people.
Hi.
A friendly place.
Yeah, very friendly. And they continue along the walk, and then they end up somewhere where they meet a group of kids who seem even lovelier, and seem like they want to get to know these two very well. By the looks of how close they get to Amanda and Josh. So here we finally meet Ray, and Ray, tells them that, well, after Amanda tells Ray that she's seen him in the house, which this is a thing that goes on throughout the episode in the books, as Amanda keeps seeing people appear in the house, Ray being one of them. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that earlier. Um, he mentions that he used to live in the house.
Ray,
You were in our house.
I was in your house?
I saw you.
I haven't been in that house in a long time.
In a long time?
I used to live in that house.
Yeah, not weird. Tons of houses have had people live in them. Um, in the book, it's like everybody from the town used to live in this one house, which Amanda finds very strange. Um, but in the episode, it's only Ray that mentions it. Um, Karen um kind of hints at it, but when Amanda questions her about it later on, she changes. She says like, "Oh, I'm at my house. Like, I'm at the town and my house that I live in." Um, so they talk about playing baseball, but everybody who's wearing hats, all of a sudden when the sun's coming out, they want to go inside. Um, I guess they got like some kind of skin condition. I don't know. Like everybody in this town is pale for the most part, and nobody finds that weird. So the kids go home, Amanda and Josh go home, and weird things continue to happen. Amanda wakes up in the middle of the night to this wonderful face.
Get away. Get up while you can. Get away.
Yeah, so that's something you want to wake up to. Some creepy lady standing over your bed, telling you to get out, to get away, and then she just disappears. As her parents rush in, and they do some investigating. They find like a hole in Amanda's closet. So the parents, of course, they explain it away like, "Oh, you were dreaming. Nobody's here." The dad patches up the hole in the wall, and everything seems good after that, except next night, more strange noises, and something tore a hole in the wall, and the dog ends up getting his hand on something, which turns out to be a very interesting plot device.
It's a newspaper. The Dark Falls Daily.
Look at the date. It's from years ago.
Listen to this headline.
Accident in a chemical factory kills workers.
Why didn't you tell us about this?
Yeah, so the family finds out that there's a chemical plant that had some kind of accidental leak or something, and they'll worry about like the soil being contaminated, with the water being contaminated. How it might affect them. Of course, Dawes, his dad is like, hey, it's all good. It's all good in the hood. It's all good in the hood of Dark Falls. Ain't nothing weird going on here. Obviously something weird was going on. The guy who sold them the house would tell them, you gotta trust the real estate agent. They wouldn't lie to you. So after all this, the Bensons and the Thurstons, they decide they're gonna have a little get together. Um, and it's this point where Amanda reveals that all this weird stuff is going on to her friend Karen. Karen's feeling a little weird about herself. She's feeling a little weird about that wreath. Something up with that wreath. What's up with it? It's a good luck charm. Why is everybody acting so weird about it? I don't know.
I don't want to scare you even more, but that thing over your fireplace. What about it? It gives me a creepy feeling.
At this point, we find out that Petey dog has run away, and Petey's been like acting really strange. He's barking at everybody they meet. In the book, it's explained that he normally doesn't do that, and he tries to get away, and so he runs away. Amanda and Josh go looking for him, while the Bensons and the Thurstons, Karen, her parents, and then Amanda and Josh's parents, they're getting ready for dinner. Of course, I'll be honest here. What Mrs. Pamela Benson's cooking, isn't on the Thurston's menu. hint, hint. Yeah, so Amanda and Josh, they go looking for Petey, and they come across a group of people having a very interesting conversation. And, this is where, we kind of start to get into the belly of the beast of what's going on in this town.
Couldn't wait. People are upset. I can't stand it anymore. I told you we should have done it right when they got here.
But we couldn't. No one expected this. Now we have a problem.
Oh, it's your problem. I can't stand it anymore.
Calm down. We all need to feed.
Yeah, so after this, I have to run in with another run in with our good old friend Ray.
Do you remember me?
Ray!
I'm the Watcher. I lived in your house.
It's revealed that everybody in this town is dead, and they need to, I guess, drink the blood of the living to survive, and the living becomes the dead. It's all there's zombies basically. That's what they are. Let's just say they're zombies. Okay. Yeah. So Amanda and Josh, are trying to get away from like all these people. This was one of my favorite scenes, in the episode because it just cuts between like, um, Amanda and Josh like, scared and trying to go away, and then it cuts to like, uh, the rest of them at the house like, oh, I hope Amanda and Josh are okay. And it goes back and forth like that for like two or three scenes. It's one of my favorite scenes of the episodes that I find really funny.
Like they may not make the meal.
Wait, stop! I don't know where we are.
I hope they find Petey.
I just hope they're okay.
Oh, they're okay.
We're over by that house. Come on.
So yeah, so they get back to the house, and me and Amanda and Josh are like, okay, we need to cover up the windows, we need to cover up the doors. And the parents are like, what's going on? Is this some kind of joke? And the Thurstons, Agnes and her husband are like, no, it's The Walking Dead.
Quick! Would someone tell me what's going on here?
It's The Walking Dead.
The what?
It was the accident at the chemical plant. All those who were contaminated, they became the living dead.
Well, guys, I guess it's time to, call in Rick Grimes. We need Daryl Dixon. We need Negan. We need Maggie. We need all of them. And The Walking Dead are out there, okay? They know how to handle things. And I was speaking of The Walking Dead. I was saying anything. Like watching this the second time, I realized the guy who plays Agnes' husband. I know it's not the same actor, but just his facial structure reminds me of Jim from the first season of The Walking Dead. But yeah, so they're trying to figure out what to do. Those people, The Walking Dead is trying to get in the house. And the Thurston's, well, Karen is like, we need to destroy the wreath. First the mom's against it, but then she's like, you know what? She throws it in the fire.
They're gone.
But not really.
The one thing that could protect you.
If it hadn't have been for that annoying little wreath, we would have fed when you first moved in.
Yeah, so it's revealed that the wreath was the only thing that was protecting them. It was a good luck charm. Like I said, the wreath is not in the book. So, as Agnes mentioned, they would have fed on the family the first night they were there if it was not for the wreath. Now in the book, there's no wreath, but they don't feed on the family the first night, obviously. I mean, you kind of wonder like why they would have to wait. I think in the book it was more so like the family could get like adjusted to living in Dark Falls, and they want to freak them out too soon. But then like if the wreath is keeping people out, are like protecting the family, was it just protecting them from people eating them? Because people were still getting in the house. Ray was getting in the house. Some other people was getting in the house. A creepy lady was getting in the house. It's something they added to the show to kind of like explain some things, but then they still had like elements from the book that kind of doesn't make sense. We're like how you know I mean the wreath is just it's just something that's in the episode. It doesn't really change anything. So um this is one of those little things that I found kind of like, how does that work? People are still getting the house. How is it protecting them? You know, you would think at some point any of them could have, eaten or drank the blood. Um, yeah, they keep talking about eating them. I think they just drink. I think they were just going to drink their blood, like zombie vampires or some weird thing. But anyways, the family gathers together and they run up, to the attic, you know, where they pretty much end up in a corner and they're about to get eaten. Amanda finally realizes that, hey, they all been avoiding the sun. Let's tear these wooden boards down and expose them to some sun. Yeah, so they expose the sun. The townspeople melt in this like cloud of like fog and smoke, and the show is like it's like really cheesy effects. But in the book, it's actually like pretty gory. They go into detail about. Let me see if I can find. I'm gonna find a page. Uh, Let's see if I can find it. Where is it? Oh yeah. Okay, so this is the part where they shine a light into Ray's face, and this is the description we get. Ray's skin seemed to be melting. His whole face sagged, then fell, dropping off his skull. I stared into the circle of white light, unable to look away as Ray's skin folded and drooped and melted away. As the bone underneath was revealed, his eyeballs rolled out of their sockets and fell silently to the ground. So in the book, it's a little more graphic, as you can tell. Um, which I thought would be cool to see that as special effects in the show. Of course, the show's aimed towards kids, so they gonna keep it a little light. Honestly, I think they could handle it. I mean, I let my little nephew watch Raiders of the Lost Ark, and that has people's face melting off, and he seems very fine and well adjusted. Anyways, yeah, so the parents they get out and get out of the car, and then Cop Doll shows up, and he's wondering why they want to leave. It's a great house. Also he has a very strong appetite.
Please! You don't seem to understand! I need you! Come back! Come back! Darkfall needs you! I'm hungry!
Yeah, so they get out, and eventually they find Petey, on the side of the road, and they pick him up, and Petey is fine. Of course, I always love, when a dog makes it in the end. Hate hate it when the dog dies.
Where have you been? Oh! What's wrong with him?
Oh, I guess he did die. Anyways, that's like the end of the episode. So the book it was a very fun read. I enjoyed it very much. Um, some of the differences from the episode. In the book, like I said, Ray's kind of given like a smaller role in the episode, and then they give his last name to like different characters. There's some differences. There is a point like in the episode, the kids talk about playing a baseball game, and they go inside, but then they decide to go because the sun's coming out. In the book, they do have a baseball game, and it isn't until like the middle of the game when the sun comes out that they decide to go home. Of course, the wreath thing, which they added, which they probably didn't have to, but I guess it makes a little sense, like I said earlier. Another thing is like, the ending is totally different, like how they find out that these people are dead. In the book, what I see in the episode, they come across like some of the townsfolk folk, having a meeting, in the cemetery and discussing, what to do. Um, in the book, when they go searching for Petey, they do end up in like the cemetery, and then they find like some gravestones, and then they see like all these names that the kids recognize as the kids that they met. Like they see Ray's name and like what year he died and everything, and that's when they kind of find out because Ray shows up and everything. And during this whole time, um, the stuff in the episode where like the Benson and Thurstons were having like a dinner party. Um, there's a dinner party like in the book, but it's one that just like the parents were going. It's like something that the all the adults of the town was throwing for them. Kind of like welcoming them. Like the kids were just hanging out by themselves. Um, and then like that's how the parents find out. The kids in the book end up having to rescue the parents. There's this like some kind of like amphitheater thing in the graveyard that the sunlight is like blocked off by like a tree, and that's where the parents are taken. The kids have to go find them, and then the kids decide that they're gonna knock down this tree, um, which I don't remember if it was an oak tree exactly, but that's what I picture it as. This big thick oak tree. They're like, we're gonna knock down this big thick oak tree, and they're running into it, and it's not working, and then it just falls over, and that's how they escape and everything. And the dog, they leave the dog behind. They leave Petey behind. They realize earlier while this is going on that it's explained that like when people move in and they have a dog, the townsfolk will kill the dog first and turn it into the living dead. Is because a dog, they're sensitive to that kind of stuff. They know something weird's going on. But yeah, I kind of like the, and then like there there's a little weird twist ending, where they're heading out the house, and when they're walking out, in the book, they pretty much melt, like they pretty much like expose everybody to sunlight, including Compton dolls. But when they're leaving the house, Amanda notices that somebody who looks like dolls is showing a new family the house. Um, and then they just leave and abandon the dog. I kind of like the twist ending in the show better, where they pick the dog up and then they're like, "Oh, it's the dog's dead." Um, but anyways, everybody, um, I'm gonna give the book. I'm gonna give the book a 10 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. It was actually my first time reading it. I'd seen the episode of the series when it first aired, like only once, and then like before I made this video, I went back and watched it twice. But it was a very fun read. The episode I would give uh I'd give it 10 out of 10 too. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna dock 2 points because the dog does die. So 8 out of 10 for both. Uh, anytime a dog gets into trouble, we're gonna dock points. Um, but yeah, that's gonna be it for this video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Had fun making it. Uh, decided to do something different with this. I did talk about I was going to do something called Stein Saturdays. I'm not going to do that exactly, but I'm going to do more Goosebumps book reviews, and television episode reviews. We're going to try to go in order. Um, for the books, and if we'll do books and episodes together, as long as like the book that I'm doing a review on has an episode adaptation from the '90s series. Which most of them do, uh, but some of them don't. But we will continue on, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please drop a like, leave a comment, and I will see you all in the next video. Love you guys.